Title: Reconciliation Through Silence, Finding Peace Without Words. Purpose: to offer a calming bedtime experience where silence becomes the message and medium for deep inner healing. What if, in the stillness, healing speaks louder than words? Table of Contents. The language of stillness. When words fail, silence prevails. The silent witness within. Echoes of peace, listening without ears. Breathing in the quiet. A sacred pause in the chaos. Unspoken forgiveness. The night hears what we cannot say. The silence between heartbeats. Waking up reconciled. Sparkles Chapter 1, The Language of Stillness, 1000 Words. Have you ever noticed how the world whispers when you allow it to be still? Not the kind of stillness where everything is frozen, but the soft pause between thoughts, the hush between heartbeats where life breathes differently. This is not emptiness. This is presence. And it is here, in this sacred silence, that healing begins. We live in a world that worships noise. Notifications, conversations, commentary, opinions, it's a constant stream. Yet healing rarely happens in the noise. It happens when we retreat from the crowd, when we finally let go of the need to explain, to justify, or to be understood. It happens when we return to silence, not to escape life, but to remember ourselves. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of peace. It is the sanctuary where the soul speaks in symbols, sensations, and subtle shifts. It is the first language we ever knew before we learned to label feelings or fabricate meanings. As children, we knew this language. We spoke to the sky without saying a word. We made peace with our toys, our blankets, our own little world in silence. We cried, then fell asleep not with explanations but with breath. Somewhere along the way, we forgot this native tongue. We traded it for validation, attention, and noise. But tonight, you are invited back. Back into the inner forest where the wind knows your name, and silence holds your truth. The body's way of whispering. Notice your body now. How does it sit? How does it breathe? What does it ache for? The body holds a language that does not use words. It tells you what you carry. It remembers what you suppress. When you give yourself silence, you begin to listen not with ears, but with awareness. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Let it be slower. Feel the texture of the moment. This, here, now, this is your healing place. There is nothing to figure out. No performance required. Just your presence is enough. Silence is not awkward here. It's safe. It doesn't pressure you to fix what's broken. It simply cradles you until you're ready to exhale. The power of not explaining. You don't have to explain your exhaustion. You don't have to explain your fear, your grief, your anger, your hope. You don't need permission to feel what you feel. This chapter is a permission slip to just be. Because silence, real silence, does not judge. It does not rush. It does not demand resolution. It only welcomes. What if your healing didn't require you to say anything at all? What if, instead of processing your day with more talking, you simply sat with it, letting the silence wrap around your thoughts like a soft blanket around shivering shoulders? Healing does not always come in the form of advice. Sometimes, it arrives quietly when you no longer argue with your own heart. A gentle practice. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, practice the ritual of silent attention. Turn off your devices. Lower the lights. Lie down and simply breathe. No narration. No inner debate. No judgment. Let your thoughts float without chasing them. Let your emotions drift without attaching to them. And say this inwardly, not aloud but as a silent whisper from the soul. I hear you, even in silence. I accept you, even without answers. I release you, even without words. This is how silence becomes a balm. This is how we let the healing rise without effort. The stillness does the work. Subliminal seeds for self-enrichment. As you listen or read, know that the silence you enter is planting seeds. Seeds of self-compassion. Seeds of worth. Seeds of gentle resilience. You are not lost. You are returning. You are not broken. You are being reassembled. You are not behind. You are being refined. Every breath in silence nourishes these truths. Every pause creates space for a better tomorrow. You are the sacred listener of your own soul. In silence, you are remembering how to hear again, not the world, but yourself. Final reflection. There is nothing more to add. No clever ending. Just the truth that silence already knows. You are safe here. You are held here. You are enough here. Let tonight be a turning point. Not by force, but by release. The world will still be there tomorrow, but tonight belongs to your silence. Chapter 2, When words fail, silence prevails. Not every wound needs a witness. Some just need space. There are moments in life when no sentence can soothe the ache. You try to express, to articulate, to explain, but the more you speak, the more it slips through your grasp. The words feel hollow. They tremble beneath the weight of your experience. In these moments, it is not eloquence that saves you, but silence. Silence does not ask you to perform. It does not need the perfect phrasing. It meets you where language cannot go. The limits of language. Human language is a beautiful tool. It allows us to share, teach, comfort, connect. But it also has boundaries. It can only describe what the mind understands, not always what the soul endures. Grief, trauma, confusion, overwhelm, love too vast to explain. These things live in a place beyond the dictionary. They dwell in the emotional marrow of your being, and to bring them into words often feels like shrinking the ocean to fit a teacup. You may have felt this when someone asked you, "What's wrong?" and your answer was, "I don't know," even when you did, you just couldn't say it. You may have felt this when trying to comfort someone, and all the right words felt inadequate. In those moments, the truest comfort wasn't advice, but presence. A silent hand held. A shared tear. A nod of understanding without uttering a syllable. Silence, then, becomes not the absence of care but its deepest expression. The gift of being wordless. In a culture obsessed with explaining and expressing, choosing silence can feel like rebellion or retreat. But it's neither. It's sacred. Choosing not to speak doesn't mean you are weak or hiding. Sometimes it means you are honoring what is too sacred, too raw, or too beautiful for language to hold. To sit in silence with your own heart is to say, "You matter, even when I cannot make sense of you." To sit in silence with another person is to say, "You don't have to explain. I'm here, and that's enough." This is where healing often begins, not with answers, but with presence. Silence as compassion. Imagine a close friend sits beside you, tears in their eyes. They are unable to speak. You don't push them. You don't fill the air with words. You simply stay. That is compassion. That is silence becoming love. Now imagine offering that same silence to yourself. When your mind is spinning. When your emotions are messy. When you're frustrated that you can't figure it out. Can you stay with yourself in silence, without demanding a solution? This is the practice of compassionate stillness. No pressure. No analysis. Just a soft internal whisper, "I'm not leaving you." Silence says what words can't. It tells your inner self, "You are not alone in this." The soul speaks in silence. Have you ever had a moment when something shifted inside you, a peace, a knowing, a release, and it came not during a conversation, but in a quiet moment? Watching the stars. Sitting near a body of water. Lying in bed as soft light spills across your pillow. These moments are silent and yet they hold answers you never found in books or conversations. Your soul speaks here. Not in paragraphs. Not in bullet points. But in feeling. In vibration. In gentle realization. And that wisdom, that still and silent knowing, has always been with you. Tonight, let yourself return to that quiet space. Give your thinking mind permission to rest. Give your overworked heart a moment to exhale. Let your inner self whisper. Even when I can't explain it, I am still valid. Even when I don't know what to say, I still deserve love. Even in my silence, I still matter. A nightly silent practice. Create a bedtime ritual of wordless presence. Before sleep, sit or lie down comfortably. Turn off all distractions. Close your eyes. Don't try to pray. Don't try to meditate. Don't try to do anything perfectly. Just breathe. Be still. And allow yourself to feel held. If emotions arise, don't name them. Just notice them. If thoughts wander, don't follow them. Just return to stillness. Place a hand over your heart or your belly and think. I am with you. Let that be enough. Because it is. Subliminal self-enrichment messages. As you rest in silence, seeds of deep healing are being planted within. You are being healed in ways your mind may not yet understand. You are reconnecting with the source of peace that needs no explanation. You are reclaiming your power without needing to say a word. This silent nourishment strengthens your inner roots so that even in the storms of life, you remain grounded. You will wake lighter. Not because everything is solved, but because you stopped carrying the pressure to explain it all. Final reflection. Words have power, yes. But they are not the only path to peace. When words fail, it is not the end. It is an invitation to discover something deeper. In your silence tonight, you are not failing. You are prevailing. You are returning to an ancient truth that stillness speaks a language beyond words. And in that space, your soul remembers. Sleep in the knowing that you are healing. Not because of what you said or thought, but because you finally allowed yourself to be still. Chapter 3, The Silent Witness Within. There is a part of you that has never been broken, only waiting to be heard. There is a sacred part of you that never shouts, never competes, and never begs for attention. It watches, waits, and knows. This is your inner witness, the still, silent presence within you that sees all, judges none, and remembers your wholeness even when you forget it. This witness is not your voice of fear, nor is it your mental chatter. It is not your critic, your planner, or your analyzer. It is the space behind all of that. It existed before your doubts were formed and will remain long after your worries have passed. When we speak of finding peace without words, we are really speaking of reconnecting with this presence, your inner observer, the one who never leaves you, even in your loneliest moments. Rediscovering the witness. You may have felt it before. That quiet awareness during a walk in nature. That pause between thoughts while watching the sunset. That feeling of being held in something greater when your eyes fill with tears, but no one is around. That is your silent witness. Not distant, not judging, not fixing, just present. And presence is what heals. Most of us move through life reacting, bouncing from one emotional wave to the next. We get entangled in every fear, every opinion, every expectation. But the silent witness within you does not get entangled. It watches the waves rise and fall with compassion and clarity. When you learn to sit in silence, you return to this witness. You realize, I am not the noise. I am the one who notices it. This is the beginning of deep inner reconciliation. The power of observing without interfering. Silence teaches us a powerful lesson: not everything needs to be solved immediately. Not every emotion needs to be understood. Some things just need to be witnessed. When you feel anxious, your first instinct might be to suppress it, analyze it, or escape it. But what if you just observed it instead? No judgment. No action. Just silent noticing. You might say inwardly, "Ah, here is anxiety. It's sitting in my chest. It feels tight, like a knot." And then, you allow it. You breathe with it. You let it be seen. You don't drown in it because you are not it. You are the space in which it arises. The silent witness within you is never overwhelmed, because it knows that emotions come and go. It sees everything: the mess, the beauty, the uncertainty, and loves you anyway. The healing in being seen even by yourself. So many of us move through life longing to be seen. Not just looked at, but truly seen, understood, held in presence. And sometimes, the person we most need to be seen by, is ourselves. To sit with yourself in silence, no distractions, no expectations, and simply witness your own experience is one of the most loving acts you can offer. I see that you're tired. I see that you're trying. I see that you're carrying more than anyone knows. You don't need to fix it all. You don't need to have answers. Just witnessing your own heart with compassion is a form of radical healing. Because when your inner witness becomes your inner friend, you no longer fear your feelings. You no longer run from your thoughts. You rest in yourself and realize you were never alone. The night is made for witnessing. Bedtime is not just a time to sleep. It is a doorway, a return to the quiet truth of who you are. In the silence of the night, your witness becomes louder, not in sound, but in presence. That ache you've ignored all day? It speaks now. That insight you needed? It whispers now. That grief you buried? It surfaces now, not to punish you, but to be held in awareness. Don't be afraid of what the night reveals. The silent witness within you can hold it all. Let the day fall away. Let the roles, the duties, the expectations dissolve. Beneath it all, you are simply you. And you are enough even in stillness. A gentle night practice. Tonight, try this simple ritual to meet your inner witness. Lie down comfortably. Let your hands rest gently on your body, one on your heart, one on your belly. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply, slowly, softly. Feel. Don't think. Don't label. Just feel the sensations of your body. Notice. Watch your thoughts float by like clouds. You are not those thoughts. You are the sky behind them. Silently affirm. I witness my feelings, and they are allowed to be here. I witness my body, and it is doing its best. I witness my spirit, and it is always whole. No analysis. No need to interpret. Just presence. This is where the deepest self-reconciliation begins, in quiet observation, free from judgment. Subliminal seeds for inner enrichment. As your awareness strengthens, your silent witness begins to nourish your soul with truths you may have forgotten. You are not broken, you are unfolding. You are not alone, you are deeply accompanied by your own inner wisdom. You are not your thoughts, you are the one who hears them. In the space of silence, these truths root themselves within you. And from this place, new peace can grow. You begin to carry yourself with more grace. You speak less, but with more meaning. You move more slowly, but with more clarity. You stop reacting and start responding from your center. This is the fruit of listening to your silent witness. Final reflection. There will always be noise around you and sometimes, within you. But the gift of silence is that it returns you to the one place where you are always safe, your own steady, observing self. Tonight, as the world sleeps, Listen not for answers, but for presence. Witness your own heart. Let yourself be seen by the one who never stopped believing in you. That witness is here. That witness is you. Chapter 4, Echoes of Peace, Listening Without Ears. The quietest moments often speak the loudest truths. Not all listening is done with the ears. Some of the most profound messages are whispered into our lives in moments of stillness, in spaces where no sound is heard but everything is understood. These are the echoes of peace, subtle vibrations that resonate through silence and leave an imprint far deeper than any spoken word ever could. When we speak of bedtime healing, we are not just talking about rest from physical exhaustion. We are talking about an inward listening, an ability to hear the gentle rhythm of your own spirit, to tune into the quiet wisdom that speaks when everything else becomes still. Peace is not always announced. It doesn't crash in like a trumpet. It arrives in whispers, often missed by the distracted, but always there for those who choose to listen without ears. Rediscovering the forgotten sense. We were all born with a natural ability to feel peace. Not just to hear it or describe it, but to sense it in the body, in the heartbeat slowing, in the breath deepening, in the shoulders releasing their tension. As children, we didn't need to be told what peace felt like. We curled up under blankets. We watched the wind sway trees. We looked at the stars in wide-eyed stillness. We knew what peace was, not because someone defined it, but because we listened with our whole being. But over time, this sense was dulled. Noise became normal. Constant stimulation became our diet. Silence became uncomfortable. And that deep, peaceful listening was slowly replaced with the chatter of what's next, what's wrong, and what should I do? To listen without ears is to return to that deeper knowing. It's to tune into the frequency of peace that has always been playing just beneath the surface. The sound beneath the silence. It may sound contradictory, but silence has a sound. Not a decibel, not a volume, but a vibration. It's the hum of the universe. The breath of life moving in and out. The beat of your own heart echoing back to you, reminding you that you are alive, here, and enough. When you close your eyes and simply sit with yourself, this sound becomes clearer. Not because the world gets quieter, but because you begin to listen differently. You begin to hear what your body has been trying to say. You begin to notice what your emotions have been whispering. You begin to receive what your soul has long been offering. And none of it needs words. This form of listening is sacred. It's where reconciliation begins, not with external dialogue, but with internal tuning. It's the inner ear of your spirit adjusting itself to hear the messages that don't come in language, but in light. Listening with the body. Peace is not just heard, it is felt. And your body is one of the greatest instruments of that feeling. Pay attention to how your body responds in silence. The softening of your jaw. The release of tension in your shoulders. The slow unwinding of your back against the mattress. The sensation of your breath deepening naturally, without effort. All of these are signs that peace is echoing through you. You are not just hearing it, you are absorbing it. Your body, when given space, becomes a resonant chamber for healing. It holds on to stress, yes, but it also holds on to stillness, to peace, to presence. When you practice listening without ears, you awaken this quiet intelligence. You stop fighting your thoughts and start witnessing your sensations. You stop trying to be peaceful and start feeling peace arise on its own. Night as a tuning fork. Nighttime is the perfect setting for this kind of listening. The distractions of the day have faded. The expectations have lifted. You are no longer required to perform, explain, or respond. You are free to tune in. Think of the night as a tuning fork. It gently strikes the strings of your soul, allowing you to hear your own resonance. If you sit quietly long enough, you may begin to hear things like, I am tired, and that's okay. I miss something I can't name, and that's valid. I am allowed to stop trying right now. These are not thoughts you chase, they're echoes that arise when you give yourself permission to listen differently. A gentle night ritual, tuning inward. Try this silent listening ritual tonight. Turn off all background sounds, music, podcasts, television. Let silence fill the room. Lie down and place your hands over your chest or heart. Feel the warmth of your own presence. Breathe deeply and then soften. Each exhale is a softening of effort. Close your eyes and ask nothing of yourself. Simply notice. Listen. Sense. Let whatever arises come and go. Don't hold it. Don't interpret it. Just witness the movement. And if you hear nothing but the rhythm of your breath, know that is enough. You are not doing it wrong. You are doing the bravest thing, listening to the silence. Subliminal seeds for inner peace. As you rest in this receptive state, gentle affirmations begin to take root. Peace does not need a reason. My presence is enough for healing. The answers I seek are not always verbal, some are vibrational. In my quiet, I am strong. In my stillness, I am realigned. These silent truths grow slowly, like moonlit flowers. They don't bloom under pressure, only under presence. By learning to listen without ears, you are cultivating an inner sanctuary that no one can disturb. Final reflection. You don't need the perfect words. You don't need a revelation or a breakthrough every night. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is lie quietly and feel the peace that was always available. Peace is not something you chase. It's something you tune into. So tonight, as the world sleeps, let the silence wrap around you like a sacred cloak. Let the echoes of peace speak softly to the places in you that have gone unheard. Let them remind you gently, sweetly, wordlessly that you are safe, you are whole, and you are loved. And that, even without sound, you are always being heard. Chapter 5, Breathing in the Quiet. Each breath is an invitation back to yourself. There is no greater reminder of life than the breath. It is the one rhythm that has been with you since the beginning, a silent pulse, quietly keeping time beneath your words, your thoughts, your every experience. And yet, we so often forget its power. To breathe is to live. But to breathe consciously, slowly, deliberately, in the arms of silence is to awaken something far deeper, the sanctuary within. When you breathe in the quiet, you are not just taking in air. You are taking in presence. You are inhaling permission to pause, to soften, to be. The forgotten teacher within us. Your breath has been your companion since birth, guiding you through your first cry, your first steps, your first heartbreak. It has never left your side even when you abandoned yourself. While your mind races, your breath remains steady. While your emotions fluctuate, your breath gently whispers, "Come back. I am here." You don't have to say anything to access its wisdom. You don't have to explain what you feel. You only need to breathe, and in that breath, allow silence to speak through sensation. Each inhale is an act of receiving. Each exhale is an act of release. It is through this sacred rhythm that you reconnect with the most peaceful part of yourself, not the part that performs or pleases, but the part that simply exists. Reclaiming stillness, one breath at a time. Modern life pulls us in 1,000 directions. We're trained to be productive, fast, efficient. We hold our breath in meetings, clench our jaws in traffic, sigh in frustration without even noticing. We become tight, tense, disconnected from the body. The breath shortens. The shoulders lift. The nervous system stays in alert mode. And peace becomes something we think we must find, not realizing it has been living inside our breath all along. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to wait until the weekend. The doorway to inner stillness is open right now through the breath. To breathe in the quiet is to interrupt the noise of the world and gently re-enter the sacred rhythm of being alive. The breath is a bridge. In every spiritual tradition, breath is considered holy. It is the bridge between body and soul, between the physical and the invisible. It links the conscious and unconscious, the now and the eternal. And it is always with you. When you feel overwhelmed, notice your breath. When you feel unseen, return to your breath. When you feel lost, let your breath lead you home. It does not rush you. It does not judge. It welcomes you back into yourself exactly as you are. This is not just physical breathing. This is intentional communion with life. In the stillness of night, this communion becomes a sacred ritual. A breath-based evening practice. Try this gentle practice before sleep to reconnect with the quiet. Lie down comfortably, with your spine aligned and your limbs relaxed. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold gently for 2 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Do this for several rounds. Allow your body to melt into the rhythm. Allow your thoughts to slow, not by force, but by breath. Now imagine that each inhale is a loving whisper saying, "You are safe. You are enough. You are here." And each exhale releases tension from the day, stories that no longer serve, the weight you don't need to carry into sleep. You don't need to get it perfect. Just breathe. Trust that peace doesn't need perfection, it only needs permission. Listening to the breath's wisdom. Your breath carries messages. Not in language, but in feeling. A shallow breath may reveal hidden anxiety. A sigh might express unspoken grief. A deep inhale may signal readiness to heal. A held breath may point to fear or restraint. By listening to the body through the breath, you give space for the truth beneath your tension to arise gently, compassionately, without demand. This kind of listening builds inner intimacy. You begin to recognize when you are disconnected. And you remember how to return through the one tool you've had all along. Subliminal seeds for healing. As you breathe in silence, allow these subliminal messages to root deep within. I am connected to something greater than my thoughts. Each breath is a renewal. Peace lives in my lungs. I do not need to force anything. I only need to allow. In this breath, I am whole. Let these truths soak into the fibers of your being. Let them replace the noise of inadequacy, hurry, and self-judgment. There is nothing to prove in this space. There is only the quiet knowing that you are already enough. Letting the breath carry you to sleep. As your body settles and your breath deepens, sleep becomes a natural unfolding. You do not have to strive for it. You do not have to count minutes or sheep. You simply let go and allow the breath to carry you into rest. Think of your breath as a gentle tide, rocking you safely to the shores of your dreams. No words needed. No thoughts to hold. Just breath, silence, and peace. Final reflection. In the quiet space of your breath, you discover something eternal. You are not the chaos. You are not the noise. You are the stillness that remains. You don't need to chase calm. It lives inside your chest. Tonight, let your only job be to breathe. To trust that your breath knows the way. To honor the quiet rhythm of your own existence. Let every inhale be a blessing. Let every exhale be a release. Let the silence between them be your healing. You are here. You are alive. And in this quiet breath, you are home. Chapter 6, A Sacred Pause in the Chaos. Even in the storm, you are allowed to be still. Life doesn't always slow down just because we need it to. The world turns fast, people calling, messages flooding in, schedules tightening, responsibilities multiplying. Amid all of it, we are expected to move forward, stay productive, hold ourselves together. But sometimes, what we need most isn't another task completed or another problem solved. Sometimes, we need to press pause. Not out of weakness, but as an act of sacred self-respect. There is tremendous power in the pause. A single moment of intentional stillness in the middle of a chaotic day can create a ripple of clarity, grounding, and healing that changes your entire experience. This chapter is an invitation to create a sacred pause even when everything else tells you to keep going. The myth of constant movement. In today's culture, motion is praised. Productivity is idolized. Rest is often seen as laziness, and pausing is mistaken for falling behind. But what if the opposite is true? What if your greatest wisdom arises not when you're rushing, but when you're still? What if growth is not always upward, but inward? The sacred pause is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's the space in which your nervous system recalibrates, your emotions breathe, and your soul catches up with your body. To reclaim the pause is to remember that you are not a machine. You are a human being. And being requires space. The power of interrupting the chaos. Chaos doesn't always come from the outside. Yes, there are noisy environments, demanding jobs, and unpredictable events. But often, the most overwhelming chaos comes from within, our thoughts spiraling, emotions rising, self-talk escalating. When you choose to pause, you interrupt the chaos. Even for just a few seconds. You stop reacting. You stop chasing. You stop spiraling. And in that sacred pause, you allow something new to emerge, a breath, a shift, a moment of reconnection. The beauty of the pause is that it doesn't require everything around you to change. It asks only one thing, your permission. How to create a sacred pause. A sacred pause is different from numbing out or escaping. It's not scrolling on your phone or collapsing in exhaustion. A sacred pause is intentional presence. It's choosing to be with yourself fully, even for a breath. Here's how you can begin practicing it. Notice the buildup. When your body feels tense, when your breath gets shallow, when your thoughts speed up, that's your signal. Stop what you're doing. Even if just for 30 seconds. Place a hand over your heart. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Take one deep breath. In through your nose, hold, out through your mouth. Say inwardly, "This moment is mine. I don't need to fix everything right now. I am allowed to pause." You don't need music. You don't need to lie down. You don't need perfect conditions. All you need is the willingness to choose yourself in that moment over the noise. Bringing the pause into bedtime. Night is often when the chaos from the day finally catches up to us. We lie down and suddenly everything we didn't process during the day starts rushing in. Thoughts, regrets, worries, unresolved conversations. This is why creating a bedtime pause is so healing. It's not just about going to sleep. It's about closing the emotional and mental loops you've been carrying. Try this before bed. Sit on the edge of your bed or lie down with your eyes closed. Place your hands palms up on your lap or beside you. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. Say inwardly, "I give myself permission to stop striving. This moment is not for fixing, it is for being. I trust the silence to carry me." You may feel your body soften, your jaw unclench, your spirit settle. This is the sacred pause, gently placing a period at the end of the sentence of your day. Silence within the pause. The pause becomes even more powerful when you let it be silent. No music. No mantras. No instructions. Just you and the stillness. Why? Because silence is a mirror. In silence, you see what's true. You feel what's real. You remember what matters. In silence, the world doesn't disappear. It just gets rearranged with your inner peace now placed in the center. Let silence be the cushion for your pause. Let it hold you without trying to change you. Let it say, you are not your noise. You are not your thoughts. You are not what you've left unfinished. You are simply here, and that is enough. Subliminal messages for self-reconciliation. As you enter the sacred pause, let these affirmations settle quietly in your being. I am not behind, I am on a sacred timeline. I don't need to earn my rest, I am worthy of it. Every pause is an act of love for myself. I trust the world to keep turning even when I stop. My peace is more important than my productivity. Let these truths become your companions in the silence. Let them rewire your relationship with stillness. Let them teach you that pausing is not giving up, it's coming home. You don't have to wait for peace. You might be waiting for the perfect moment when all tasks are done, when the house is clean, when everyone else is okay, when your phone stops buzzing. But peace does not wait for perfect conditions. Peace arrives the moment you choose it. And you can choose it in a single breath. Right here. Right now. This is the gift of the sacred pause. It reminds you that you have access to peace, even in chaos. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Final reflection. There will always be one more thing to do. One more problem to solve. One more reason to keep going. But tonight, choose the pause. Not the distraction. Not the escape. The pause. Let it be your sanctuary. Let it be your rebellion against burnout. Let it be your act of radical self-care. And in that space between the chaos and the calm, you will remember this truth. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to just be. Let the silence hold you. Let the pause heal you. Let the night become your sacred return to yourself. Chapter 7, Unspoken Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not always spoken, sometimes it's simply felt, quietly, within. Forgiveness is often imagined as a grand act, a difficult conversation, a letter sent, a moment of reconciliation witnessed by others. But there is a quieter kind of forgiveness that lives deep within the heart. It's not about saying the words aloud. It's about softening inwardly, loosening the grip on pain, and choosing peace over punishment. This is the practice of unspoken forgiveness, the silent decision to stop carrying what was never meant to be yours forever. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't even mean condoning. It simply means choosing to no longer be the keeper of suffering. The weight you don't have to carry. We carry so much that no one sees. Old grudges. Broken trust. Words that wounded us but were never taken back. Mistakes we made and cannot undo. These burdens often follow us into the night. Just as the world quiets, the echoes grow louder. Why did they do that? Why didn't I stop it? How could I have been so blind? If only I had done things differently. You may never hear the apology you deserve. You may never get the closure you imagined. But here's the truth, you don't need their permission to be free. Forgiveness begins the moment you decide to stop replaying the pain. That moment, though silent, is powerful. It is a return to yourself. Forgiving others without words. There are people who may never apologize. Maybe they don't know what they've done. Maybe they're no longer here. Maybe they aren't capable of taking responsibility. But your healing does not depend on their awareness. Forgiving silently doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It means choosing to no longer let what they did define how you feel tonight, or tomorrow. You can say to yourself, I let go of needing them to understand. I release myself from needing to be right. I choose peace over pain. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about reclaiming your inner landscape, clearing the weeds so you can plant something new. And you don't need to say a single word out loud for that to happen. Forgiving yourself in the quiet. Sometimes the hardest forgiveness is not for others, but for ourselves. We carry shame for things we did, or didn't do. We replay old choices, old reactions, old chapters, punishing ourselves again and again. But the past is not a prison unless we choose to stay locked inside it. There is no perfect version of you waiting in the wings. There is only the you who tried, stumbled, learned, and kept going. And that version, the real one, deserves your love. Tonight, as you lie down to rest, offer this silent forgiveness to yourself. I forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know. I forgive myself for surviving the only way I knew how. I forgive myself for being human. No need to confess. No need to explain. Let the quiet be your witness. Let your breath carry the weight away. The night is a gentle confessor. One of the most healing things about nighttime is that it does not ask questions. It does not demand explanations. It simply wraps around you, whether you're strong or broken, whole or hurting. In the arms of night, forgiveness becomes sacred. It becomes a quiet return, not to who you used to be, but to who you are beneath the armor. Try this before you fall asleep. Lie on your back. Place a hand over your heart. Inhale forgiveness. Exhale regret. Imagine a soft light filling your chest, expanding gently. Silently repeat. I am willing to release what I no longer need. I am willing to love myself, even here. I am willing to let go. You don't have to force it. You don't have to rush it. Just your willingness is enough. Forgiveness without closure. Closure is something we're told we need. But sometimes closure doesn't come wrapped in clarity. Sometimes, it's a whisper, not a resolution. You might not get the full story. You might not get justice. But you can give yourself peace. And sometimes peace means accepting that the story won't be completed by them. It will be rewritten gently, slowly by you. Unspoken forgiveness is not incomplete. It is sacred. It is the invisible thread that mends the unseen wounds. And you are allowed to offer it without waiting for permission. Subliminal seeds for healing. As you lie in stillness tonight, let these truths settle softly into your subconscious. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to release. I forgive without needing to forget. I forgive to make room for joy. My heart knows how to heal, even when words are missing. I don't need to carry this anymore. Let each breath reinforce your decision. To unburden. To soften. To sleep in peace. Not everything needs to be said. We are taught that healing must be loud, that it must be visible, verbal, clear. But some of the deepest healing happens in silence. In the quiet moment when you decide not to dwell. In the breath you take instead of the blame. In the stillness where you choose love again and again. This is unspoken forgiveness. This is the way your soul makes peace with the past without dragging it into your future. You don't need an audience. You don't need their reaction. You only need to feel the weight lift, however quietly, from your chest. Final reflection. Forgiveness is not a line you cross. It's a path you walk gently, imperfectly, bravely. And tonight, that path begins in silence. You are not failing by forgiving. You are not weak for letting go. You are not forgetting, you are freeing yourself to remember who you were before the pain. Let the silence tonight hold your heart. Let it witness your choice to release. Even if no one else ever hears the words you heard them. Even if no one else knows the shift you felt it. That is enough. So breathe, and let go. Forgive, and sleep. Not because it's easy but because you are worth the peace it brings. Chapter 8, The Night Hears What We Cannot Say. There are things too heavy for words, but the night holds them all without question. There comes a time, especially as the day winds down and the world dims, when the weight we've carried can no longer be spoken. Not because it lacks importance, but because it has grown too complex, too intimate, or too sacred to be shaped into language. We lie in bed, eyes open in the dark, and feel the quiet truth of it. Some things can't be said, only felt. This chapter is not about how to speak. It's about how to be heard without speaking. Because the night in its stillness and silence becomes the one place vast enough to hold what we can't explain, and kind enough not to ask us to try. The language of the unspoken. We are taught from a young age to use words to make sense of our world, to name our feelings, to communicate our needs, to share what hurts. But what happens when language fails? What do we do with grief that has no timeline, with regrets that have no resolution, with love that still lingers long after goodbye? Sometimes, even the deepest conversations cannot reach the places where sorrow lives. In these moments, it's not a person we turn to, it's the night. Not because it talks back, but because it doesn't. Because it receives everything without needing to solve it. The night is a gentle listener. The night has always been a sacred witness. It does not interrupt. It does not shame. It doesn't ask you to hurry through your feelings or wrap them in tidy conclusions. It simply holds space. And in doing so, it teaches us that not everything broken must be explained. Some of it must just be rested with, acknowledged, accepted, and allowed to exist. When you lie in the dark with a quiet heart, the night hears the emotions behind the silence. It hears the fatigue hidden beneath your smile. It hears the longing that even you don't fully understand. It hears the apology you whisper only to yourself. And still, it stays. You are not alone in the quiet. Loneliness can feel sharpest at night. The noise of the world fades, and all the things you pushed aside during the day begin to surface. But what if you reframe this solitude? What if the quiet isn't empty but full? Full of presence, full of meaning, full of witnessing? The night becomes a kind of sacred company. One that doesn't need your words to understand you. One that sits with you just as you are. In this silence, you begin to feel your emotions as waves, not judgments. You see your thoughts as clouds, not commands. You recognize that being heard doesn't always require a conversation. Sometimes, being heard simply means being held emotionally, spiritually, energetically. And the night knows how to do that better than anyone. Bedtime is a ritual of receiving. Rather than fighting the thoughts that surface as you prepare for sleep, try allowing them and offering them up to the night. Try this gentle bedtime ritual. Lie down with no expectation to sleep quickly. Just rest. Place a hand over your heart or belly. Feel your breath. Close your eyes and breathe into the silence. Silently say, "Night, hear what I cannot say. Hold what I don't have words for. Witness what still aches within me." Then stop trying. Stop fixing. Let go of the need to explain or resolve. Just breathe. Just rest. Let the night carry the rest. What the night understands. The night understands that you can miss someone and still be healing. You can forgive someone and still feel pain. You can be grateful and still exhausted. You can be doing your best and still feel like you're falling short. And the night does not ask you to choose one or the other. It simply accepts the contradiction, the beautiful mess of being human. You are not judged here. You are not measured. You are not analyzed. You are simply heard, in a way only silence can offer. When words aren't enough, There are moments when emotions defy language. Where a lump in the throat says more than a paragraph ever could. Where tears are the body's only way of articulating the inarticulable. This is not weakness. This is your truth speaking in a different language, the language of sensation, of intuition, of presence. The night doesn't require you to translate. It understands that some feelings are not meant to be expressed, only felt and released. If tonight you feel like you have nothing left to say, know that's okay. You don't need to speak to heal. You don't need to speak to be seen. You don't need to speak to be held. Subliminal seeds for inner knowing. As you lie in silence, the night plants gentle truths deep within. I am allowed to feel what I feel, even if I don't understand it. My worth is not measured by how well I explain myself. I am heard, even when I am quiet. There is a presence in this silence that holds me gently. Healing happens even when nothing is said. These messages don't need to be shouted. They're absorbed in the stillness. They become part of your breath, your body, your being. Final reflection. You don't have to force healing tonight. You don't have to articulate your every feeling. You don't have to be anything but present. Let the night be your sanctuary. Let it absorb the weight of all that was unsaid. Let it wrap around you like a soft blanket of understanding. You've carried enough today. Let the silence now speak for you. Let the night hear what your heart cannot say. Let yourself rest, not because the pain is gone, but because you no longer need to carry it alone. You are heard. You are seen. You are safe. And the night, in all its quiet majesty, is holding you now. Chapter 9, The Silence Between Heartbeats. Between each beat, there is a space. In that space lies peace, waiting to be felt. Your heart beats not once, not twice, but tens of thousands of times each day. A silent, steady rhythm keeping time with your life. But what if the secret to inner peace wasn't in the beat itself, but in the space between the beats? That tiny pause. That almost imperceptible stillness. The briefest breath of quiet, where nothing happens, but everything is held. This chapter invites you into that sacred space, the silence between heartbeats, where healing is not spoken or sought, but simply allowed. Discovering the space that holds you. We often chase peace like it's a destination, something outside of ourselves that we must travel toward. But peace doesn't live in faraway places. It lives in the quiet places within you. The silence between heartbeats is more than a physical pause. It's an energetic invitation to return to center. To remember that between effort and exhaustion, between thought and action, there is you. This space is always there. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to wait for the world to calm down. You only have to become still enough to notice. Right now, place your hand over your heart. Feel its rhythm. It's not constant, it pulses. It beats, then rests. Beats, then rests. In the rest, the pause, the quiet, there is something sacred. That silence is your refuge. You are not the noise, you are the rhythm. Life throws a lot at you. Messages, tasks, responsibilities, regrets, memories, worries about tomorrow. It's easy to feel like you're just keeping up, breathless, scattered, always on the edge. But inside, your heart beats. Slowly. Faithfully. Without your instruction. It reminds you that life moves in rhythm, not in rush. And even more powerfully, that between the beats, in the micro moments of stillness, you are being renewed. You are not the chaos. You are not the story. You are the rhythm and the space between. And the more you listen to that space, the more you begin to return to yourself. Listening to the in-between. To tune into the silence between heartbeats isn't about measuring your pulse or meditating for hours. It's about becoming aware of what holds you when nothing else does. Try this practice. Find a quiet place. Sit or lie down. Close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart. Gently. Like a friend. Breathe slowly and deeply. Feel your chest rise and fall. Now notice the rhythm. Don't analyze it. Just feel it. Begin to sense the pause, the moment between beats. It's subtle. It's silent. But it's there. Rest your attention in that space. Not your thoughts. Not your emotions. Just that. This is not about control. This is about communion. Let the space between beats hold your thoughts. Let it cradle your questions. Let it welcome your weariness. This is where peace hides. And waits. What the silence between heartbeats knows. That pause, that stillness, it knows things your mind has forgotten. It knows that you are more than your productivity. It knows that your value does not depend on how much you do. It knows that healing is not always loud or fast. Sometimes, it is quiet and gradual. It knows that your heart has broken and kept beating. It knows that you are alive, and that is enough. In that silence lives your true self, not the version that strives, but the version that simply is. The part of you that is undamaged, undiminished, unwavering. Trusting the sacred rhythm. There is no need to force yourself into peace. You are already pulsing with it. Every heartbeat carries wisdom. Every pause carries stillness. And together, they create the rhythm of being. Even when your mind feels like a storm, your body remembers the way back. It is remembering now. All you need to do is trust it. Lean into your own rhythm. Let your breath meet your heartbeat. Let your awareness nestle in the silence that follows each pulse. This is your anchor. Not a mantra. Not a strategy. Just your natural rhythm, ancient, intelligent, sacred. The Bedtime Heart Ritual. As you prepare to sleep tonight, try this simple ritual to connect with the silence within. Lie down with your hands resting on your chest or belly. Breathe slowly, with your eyes closed. Imagine your breath and your heartbeat becoming friends, moving together, gently. Each time you feel your heart beat, silently say, "Here I am." Pause. "I am held." Allow yourself to feel that, you are here. And you are held not by a person, but by the divine rhythm within you. No performance. No need to be strong. Just this, heartbeat, pause, heartbeat, pause. You are enough. Just like this. Subliminal seeds of stillness. As you tune into this sacred rhythm, allow these truths to take root. My peace does not depend on the world, it lives in my rhythm. I am not rushing, I am flowing. I trust the pauses in my life. The silence within me is wise and healing. Between my heartbeats, I find my truth. These messages do not need to be memorized. They will whisper themselves to you as you sleep, carried on the breath of your own heartbeat. Final reflection. You are not here to rush. You are not here to constantly explain, perform, or fix. You are here to feel your own rhythm, and remember that within every beat, there is a pause. A breath. A sacred moment that says, you are still here. And that is enough. Let the silence between your heartbeats become your lullaby. Let it sing to the weary parts of you. Let it remind you that you are alive, not in spite of the silence, but because of it. Tonight, there is nothing more to say. Nothing more to prove. Just feel the beat, and the space between. You are safe. You are sacred. You are home in your own rhythm. Chapter 10, Waking Up Reconciled. The peace you plant in silence will rise with the morning sunday. There is a quiet miracle that happens when you sleep after choosing to release, forgive, breathe, and simply be. You don't just rest, you reconcile. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a way others may notice. But in your own heart, where healing whispers instead of shouts. And when you wake not rushed, not reacting but aware, softened, and at ease, something inside has changed. You are no longer at war with yourself. You are waking up reconciled. The night was the healing. The world values what it can see, productivity, effort, accomplishments. But so much of your true healing happens in invisible ways, especially while you sleep. The night is more than rest for the body, it is a retreat for the soul. It is when your inner world does its quiet work. Integrating what you've felt. Softening what you've clung to. Releasing what no longer serves you. You may not feel it happening. But every deep breath in the dark, every moment of stillness, every time you chose not to chase your thoughts, those were acts of surrender. And surrender is what allows reconciliation to rise. Reconciliation is not a destination, it's a return. To reconcile does not mean to perfect. It means to return to yourself, to your truth, to your still point. It means to close the gap between who you've been pretending to be and who you truly are. When you wake up reconciled, you wake without guilt dragging behind you. You rise without resentment nipping at your heels. You feel the air differently, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You stopped carrying what was never yours. You stopped fighting battles that ended long ago. You stopped expecting yourself to be more than human. And in doing so, you remembered, you are whole even in progress. How the morning feels different. On mornings when you wake reconciled, the light feels gentler. The breath feels deeper. The mirror feels kinder. You may still have challenges ahead. Deadlines, responsibilities, routines. But you face them with a centeredness that cannot be shaken because your peace was not built on outer conditions, but on inner restoration. The body may still ache. The mind may still wander. But underneath it all, you feel a steady hum. I am no longer at odds with myself. This is the gift of the previous night's silence. The fruit of your stillness. The proof that surrender works. The morning after silence. Try this tomorrow morning. Before reaching for your phone, pause. Place a hand over your heart. Feel the pulse. Take 3 slow breaths. Let each one awaken your body gently. Ask silently. What did I let go of last night? What no longer feels heavy? How can I carry this peace forward today? Don't rush the answers. Sometimes the gift is not in clarity but in comfort. You may notice a new softness in your thoughts. A fresh openness in your chest. A quieter mind. That is not an accident. That is reconciliation at work. Living from the reconciled state. Waking up reconciled does not mean you'll never feel pain again. It means that pain no longer defines your identity. It means you move through the day from a place of acceptance, not resistance. It means you give grace to others more easily. You breathe more often before reacting. You take fewer things personally. You feel less need to explain or defend. Why? Because you've already made peace within. And that inner peace reshapes your outer world. The more often you return to silence, the more easily you return to your center again and again, with less effort each time. You don't need to start over, you just start from peace. Each morning is not a demand to reinvent your life. It's an invitation to live from alignment. To bring the calm you cultivated during the night into the first step of your day. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to accomplish anything monumental. You simply wake, breathe, and continue from the place of reconciliation you touched while you slept. That alone changes everything. Subliminal truths to carry into your day. As you rise into your new day, carry these truths silently with you. I am not who I was yesterday, and I am free to begin again. I am not defined by my past, I am shaped by what I release. Peace is not something I wait for, it's something I choose now. I carry silence within me, even in noise. I am reconciled with myself gently, quietly, completely. Let these become the undercurrent of your decisions, your posture, your presence. Others may not know what happened inside you overnight, but they'll feel it in your tone, your energy, your steadiness. You'll feel it most in the way you treat yourself. Reconciliation is a daily practice. You don't arrive at peace once and stay there forever. Like breath, reconciliation is cyclical. Every night offers the chance to return. Every morning offers the chance to rise anew. This is your rhythm now. Enter silence. Release what's heavy. Be with yourself fully. Sleep in surrender. Wake up light. Again and again. Night after night. Morning after morning. And slowly, that inner peace becomes permanent. Not perfect but rooted. Not loud but unshakable. Final reflection. Waking up reconciled is not a miracle. It's a choice you made in the dark, a choice to pause instead of push, to feel instead of fight, to rest instead of run. You didn't need to speak a word. You didn't need to fix anything. You simply allowed yourself to be, and the silence did the rest. So as the day begins, let that be your secret power. Not what you'll achieve. Not how fast you'll move. But this. You are at peace with yourself. And from that place, you can face anything. Final takeaway, let silence shape the life you were meant to live. There are no loud conclusions in this book. No grand revelations that shout for your attention. Instead, there is a still whisper, a truth you've always known but maybe forgotten in the noise of daily survival. Sparkles peace, presence, and purpose already live within you. You simply need the silence to hear them again. Sparkles. This bedtime journey wasn't about escape. It wasn't about pretending pain doesn't exist. It was about learning to sit with what is, to soften your grip on what was, and to gently rise into what can be with grace, not force. And the biggest gift of all? You didn't need to say a single word. Your sacred takeaways. 1. You are not the noise, you are the stillness beneath it. This ebook teaches you how to find the you that exists beyond guilt, beyond pressure, beyond performance. The one who simply breathes, listens, forgives, and belongs without needing validation. Leverage it. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, return to the silence. Let it remind you that you are not the storm, you are the sky. 2. Stillness is a superpower, use it to re-engineer your life. In a world obsessed with motion, you've been taught to equate silence with passivity. But true transformation begins in stillness. This is where new patterns are born. Where old self-blame is released. Where inner clarity forms like mist into light. Leverage it. Use this practice of nightly silence to rewire your responses. Choose calm before chaos. Choose reflection before reaction. That is how you re-engineer your life with purpose. 3. Self-worth doesn't require achievement. Throughout these chapters, you were never asked to earn your peace. You were invited to remember that you already deserve it. Reconciliation happens not when you do more, but when you stop diminishing your own sacred existence. Leverage it. Stop measuring your value by output. Measure it by how kindly you treat yourself when no one is watching. 4. Your body and soul are already communicating, start listening. Your breath, your heartbeat, your subtle awareness, these are divine technologies built into your design. This book guided you back to that built-in guidance system. Leverage it. Pay attention to what your body feels before your mind races. Let stillness become your new compass. 5. You can heal without talking about it. There is sacred power in what is unspoken. Many burdens do not need to be voiced to be released. The night hears what your soul cannot yet explain. Leverage it, create a daily ritual of unspoken forgiveness, presence, or surrender, and trust that healing will follow. 6. From silence comes focus. The more you release emotional noise, the more focused you become. Not because you try harder, but because your energy becomes aligned. A clear heart sees a clear path. Leverage it, use silence to sharpen your attention on what truly matters, not on impressing others, but on fulfilling your reason for being alive. 7. Gratitude grows in the quiet. When the external world is turned off, your internal world lights up. You begin to see the small, sacred blessings you'd missed: your breath, your resilience, your becoming. Leverage it. Before sleep or after waking, whisper one word of thanks. That single whisper changes the chemistry of your heart and your future. 8. Living is a contribution, even in small ways. You don't have to cure the world to contribute to it. You being fully present, kind to yourself, and walking in alignment with your silent truth is a divine contribution. Leverage it. Let go of the question, "Am I doing enough?" Instead, ask, "Am I being fully myself, peacefully, joyfully, truthfully while I'm still alive?" That alone is enough to bless the world. Realigning with your main objective in this life. Your time here is not random. You are not a mistake. You are a piece of eternity expressing itself for a short while as you. This bedtime journey gave you one message, softly repeated across each chapter. You don't have to fight for your place in this world. You only have to remember why your soul chose to come here. And that why your true objective is not rooted in guilt or fear. It is rooted in service, stillness, kindness, creativity, forgiveness, and love. Every night you practice silence, you retune your spirit back to that original purpose. Every morning you rise in quiet wholeness, you are walking in your mission again with fewer distractions and deeper clarity. A blessing as you continue. May your nights be filled with peace. Your breath become your prayer. And your silence become your strength. May you stop diminishing your own light. May you start honoring what only you can bring into this world. May you remember that even your stillness is a contribution. And may you always know, deeply and truly, all is well. All is sacred. All is God blessed. Reaching RTSG with AI assistance via WhatsApp QR code. Recommended Reinventing Ourselves YouTube video QR code.